Call this evening's Planning Commission meeting for the City of Greer to order. Let the record reflect that today's date is May 18th, time 6:30 p.m., and we do have a quorum. Is there anyone present on the commission who would need to disqualify themselves from the cases being reviewed this evening? Please state your name and case for the record and complete a recusal form from staff. Okay. At this time, the case is being heard and voted on. That person will need to step down from the panel, which we don't have. We'll now receive the minutes from the last meeting on April 13th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Toma?
Yes.
Ms. Medford?
Yes.
Ms. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Lavender?
Yes. At this time, I'll open the new business section of the meeting. This is where staff will make an official recommendation on each item. After staff has finished speaking, the public hearing will be opened and the applicant will be asked to step forward and speak about their proposal. Following the applicant's presentation, members of the public will be invited to speak for or against the matter. All speakers should come to the podium to make their comments, beginning with their name and address. If you have not already, please be sure to sign in with staff to speak. We ask that everyone that speaks, please keep their comments under 3 minutes. That's to keep the meeting running smoothly and efficiently. If the commission has any questions of the applicant, staff, or anyone in the audience that is within their right to ask such questions, the board will vote on each request during this time. After commission has voted on your case, please contact planning and zoning staff at your convenience to move forward with next steps. Then you may be excused from the meeting after your case is complete. Before we proceed, I'd like to remind commission that all motions are to be made in the affirmative, meaning that the motion is to approve the request as it was submitted. A failed affirmative motion constitutes a vote of denial. At this time, I'll open a new business meeting for AN 26-05, a request to annex one parcel on East Gap Creek Road and establish the zoning classification of office professional in order to use the property as a caretaker's cottage for an associated museum. Staff, please present your analysis and recommendation.
Technical difficulties. All right, thank you. This is an annexation request for one parcel. I do want to note before I begin that this request is related to the next request, which will be a rezoning of the two parcels surrounding this parcel. But this parcel is not currently in the city. So again, this is for one parcel in Greenville County. They're requesting to annex and zone to office professional. This is an aerial map. This is off East Gap Creek Road near both the middle school and high school and Brookside Farm development. This is the current zoning map. Again, this is in the county, so it doesn't have a zoning. The adjacent zoning is DRD, Design Review District. This board saw that rezoning probably 4 years ago for a townhome development. This is the future land use map. The area surrounding it is calls for suburban neighborhood. And then this is the existing conditions of the site. Again, the request is to annex and zone to office professional. The surrounding land uses include residential, undeveloped, a middle and high school. And then again, to the south and west, it is surrounded by the parcels that are part of the next request, which are currently DRD, but they are also requesting to zone to office professional. Their intent is to combine all three parcels and have a museum, event space, and then a caretaker's cottage. So again, that existing condition that you see, that home will be remaining. So it is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and staff recommends approval. And happy to answer any questions.
Can I ask what type of museum is proposed?
So I believe, because we did have first reading at City Council, and actually, you know what, could we hold until after the public hearing for questions? Sorry.
Let's let the applicant come up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we'll let the applicant answer
Okay.
that.
All right, I hereby open the public hearing for AN 26-05. Will the applicant please come to the podium and present their request?
Yes, hello. I'm Alan Stein. I live at 360 Pax Mountain Ridge Road in Taylors, and I represent the owner of this parcel. I used to own the parcel. I sold it to him. I'm his project manager. So your question was about a museum?
Yes.
It's going to be a historic and educational museum. It's going to be referencing the World Wars and it'll be reverently and respectfully dealt with. And it will be partly a museum on a third of it. About a third of it will be a banquet center for over 200 people. There's nothing in that area, and it'll be elegant. And then the rest is for storage and other things in the building.
Very good. Sounds nice.
And this parcel right here is up at the front corner, as you saw on the map, and it's nasty. So we're buying it. We're going to clean it up and make it a nice place.
I rode by there today, yeah.
Any more questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone present who would like to speak for or against this request? Now is your opportunity. I'll now call each person signed up to speak. I do not believe I have anyone signed up to speak on this. Seeing none, I close the public comment for 26-05. We have any missing? Let me think. Yeah. Okay, we'll close the public comment. Do we have, I feel like I'm out of order. Give me just a second. Okay. We're not going for a vote on this right now. I've got some,
Seeing questions of staff right now.
ma'am,
You guys can discuss and ask questions of staff.
okay. Do we have any questions for staff? Or further discussion?
Is there a larger presentation or anything for the case that follows that kind of goes along with it in terms of,
Yeah, I kind of wanted to try and group this together.
Right.
Possibly, maybe just, we'll close the public comment for 26-05 and open the new business meeting for RZ 2603.
Yeah,
sound
that's
all right?
fine. We can do that. We can do kind of public hearing for both, and then you'll have to vote separately,
right,
but
but we can hear everything, at least.
sure. I will say there's not much else, but I'm happy to go through it so you can
Okay.
see the total.
All right.
Sure, this is a rezoning request for two properties on East Gap Creek Road, again, associated with the annexation request of the small parcel at the frontage. The existing zoning is Design Review District. It was approved a couple years ago as a townhome development. They are requesting to rezone to Office Professional or OP. This is the aerial map, again, that kind of shows the total scope of the whole project. This is the zoning map. Again, it's currently zoned DRD. It's adjacent to rural residential. That is the school that you're seeing. And then the future land use map is suburban neighborhood. This is existing conditions on the site. And then again, the request is to rezone these two parcels to office professional. It's surrounded by a mix of residential, undeveloped, institutional with the two schools. And it is consistent with the comprehensive plan of suburban neighborhood. Again, institutional uses are listed as acceptable secondary uses in the comp plan for suburban neighborhood. And staff does recommend approval.
Do we have, I'm going to open the public hearing for RZ 26-03. Will the applicant please come back up? Do we have any more questions for the applicant?
I might have a question,
Podium is yours.
if I may. Once we change the zoning on the two that we're changing the zoning on, and we annex the third parcel, the smaller parcel, will we need to do a rezoning on that as well?
No, it's part of the annexation request.
Okay, it is.
Yeah,
I
so
wasn't sure how
these-
that was being handled.
If both cases are successful, then you could combine all three.
Okay, and that would all fit the zoning, no more applications.
Yes, they would all three be office
The
professional.
annexation application requires a zoning specification. So as you annex, you have to apply for the zoning.
Okay, I
then
wasn't
you
sure how
rezone,
we
yep.
did that. Questions about what we're doing there?
You got an armful of documents. I thought maybe you might have brought something to share with us.
I've got floor plans and then layouts and this and that, but it's all preliminary.
Okay.
If you'd like to see them, you're welcome to.
Sounds like fun. I'll take a look.
Okay.
Would you mind bringing it up here? I can share it amongst everybody then that way. Pick your favorite.
Where do you want me to approach?
I'll take it.
You just got floor plans of the banquet center? Is that what you got?
Banquet Center is on the lower level, the museum is mostly on the
On
upper.
the upper? Okay.
Okay. Big U-shaped building.
Pictures that I sent today.
We did not receive pictures.
My kind of stuff.
I do have some pictures on my phone. I thought I'd sent them to planning, they said they didn't get them.
Okay.
I have some pictures of some landscaping and things he's done at his place and other events and things he's done. So it's going to be very well educated.
Sure. No, this gives us a sense of scale and size and,
It's going to be about 18,000 square feet on the roof, and about 6,000 in the banquet center, about 6,000 in the museum, and then the rest is in.
Very nice.
Okay.
Looks very nice.
Do we have any more questions for the applicant? Okay. Is there anyone present who would like to speak for or against this request? Okay, seeing none. I close the public hearing for RZ 2603. Do we have any further questions for staff or any further discussion? Do we have a motion for RZ 26-03, being this application?
Move to approve.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Toma?
yes.
Ms. Medford?
Yes.
Ms. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Lavender?
Yes.
Okay, and then if y'all wouldn't mind, we also
Right.
need
Yeah.
a motion for the annexation 2605.
Yep. So do we have any questions for staff for AN 2605 or discussion or motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Toma?
Yes.
Ms. Medford?
Yes.
Ms. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Lavender?
Yes. All right, both these motions passes. Please contact staff for next steps. At this time, I'll open the new business meeting for RZ 26-05, request to rezone one parcel from commercial general to traditional neighborhood and remove the parcel from the downtown entryway overlay in order to build a house. Staff, please present your analysis and recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Yes, this is a rezoning request. This property, again, it's on Albert Street. It backs up to properties that are on South Line. This is the zoning map as it stands right now. So there is a circle around this parcel. So it was recently subdivided. This was one parcel as a whole. And And so it was recently subdivided, and so they are asking that the back half be rezoned to traditional neighborhood. That parcel on the frontage that's now separate will remain commercial general. And that is also why we are asking to remove it from the overlay. Oops, sorry, it wasn't working earlier. Now it's, so again, that entryway overlay is additional to the zoning district that has additional architectural standards for our kind of 5 corridors that are our entryway into downtown. So it was really meant for properties that front South Line Street. So now that it is subdivided out and fronts Albert Street, it didn't seem appropriate to keep it in that overlay. So that just is one part of the zoning map amendment. It can be done as one. The future land use map calls for traditional neighborhood. The existing conditions, again, this parcel is currently vacant. The commercial parcel in front of it has a food truck. And then, again, the request is to rezone to traditional neighborhood and to remove the entryway overlay. And it is surrounded by residential, retail, and it is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. I hereby open the public hearing for RZ 26-05. Will the applicant please come to the podium and present their request?
Good afternoon. My name is German Fuentes, and I'm trying to get that zoning there for traditional neighborhoods to build a small single-family home. That's about it.
Have any questions for the applicant?
When was it re-subdivided?
Yes.
When was it? When was the resubdi-
When did I subdivide it?
Okay, when was it carved off from the?
I think
March.
March. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so very recently.
All right. Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone present who would like to speak for or against this request? All right, seeing none. Close the public hearing for RZ 26-05. Do we have any more questions for staff or further discussion?
They mentioned a small home. How small is this home? 4-bedroom? Larger than small.
Any other discussion?
Question
have a-
for staff. For the future land use on there, the overlay would remain for the rest of the parcel going forward. So even if they were all consolidated, there would still be everything to the north of it if they were all taken as one, as some sort of future development that would all go and follow exactly what we envision as a city or what the
Yes,
land use is. You
so-
would still have the requirement for all of the overlay
Yes.
on the parcels that front line.
Yes, that's correct. So future land use is guidance and not regulatory, and then the overlay kind of lays on top of the zoning district. So the base district of most of those properties is commercial general. And then, yes, that overlay would still lay on top of all of the properties that front South Line.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Do we have a motion?
A motion?
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Toma?
Yes.
Ms. Medford?
Yes.
Ms. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Lavender?
Yes. This motion passes. Please contact the planning staff for the next steps. At this time, I'll open the new business meeting for revision 26-01. This is a request to approve a major revision to the Blue Ridge Plantation Statement of Intent, allowing for residential development in Zone 7A and redistributing planned residential units from other zones accordingly. Staff, please present your analysis and recommendation.
Okay, thank you. So just a little bit of background because we haven't had a lot of these types of cases. So properties that are zoned DRD or Design Review District or PD, which is Planned District and requires mixed use. Anytime they have a minor revision that wouldn't alter the character of the project, trying to think of examples. We've had a few that do setbacks or like reduce. We don't have a lot of these either. We don't have a lot of minor revisions, but anything that staff feels changes the character of the zoning district requires it to go back to Planning Commission and City Council because it is treated as a zoning map amendment. When a property is zoned DRD or PD, this one is PD, Planned District, they adopt a statement of intent and a site plan that go along with that zoning. And that district it's not used much anymore, but it was used to allow some flexibility, from the strict adherence to the zoning ordinance at the time. And so we didn't have zoning districts that really allowed for a mix of uses. So this property, which is Blue Ridge Plantation, and I'm going to kind of skip ahead just a little bit, was originally rezoned or annexed at the time back in 2002. So it's been under construction. There are some kind of zones that have been built out already. It's approaching the halfway mark. So in 2002, it was adopted. In 2006, they brought in the lakeside portion of the neighborhood to the north of Gross Meadow Road. And then in 2021, they had a new buyer for the development. Enchanted Development bought it from the original developer, and they went through a very big major change at the time that went through public hearing with Planning Commission and with City Council. And the biggest change at that time was to establish some triggers for the amenities and for the trails that were in there. And at that time, also, Zone 7 that you see on screen was originally just Zone 7. It was about 40 acres. As part of that major change, they split the zone into 7A and 7B. And 7A was to remain commercial and amenity, and 7B was allowed to be a mix of single-family attached and detached. So single-family homes and townhomes. So again, that was established in 2021. So I know some of the public comments that we received, some of the neighbors seemed very upset about townhomes. That has actually already been established and is not part of this request. There are a few things that they're asking for with the zones. They are asking to kind of spread out some of the density. This is considered kind of a minor change. Staff has done this before. If they have a few more units in one zone and then a few less in another, as long as that overall density of the project did not go over 4.36, that was considered a minor change. Again, there's 1,300 homes in this project as a whole. There's 13 zones. So it is a massive project, and so a few homes here or there, again, isn't considered major. So the crux of this particular request deals with Zone 7, and that is to allow, again, sorry, I'll get to this language. So this particular language would allow for up to 121 single-family attached and detached homes in 7A. So again, that is...
Red.
This is the red area that you see here. So this is the neighborhood that's been built out for a long time. This is currently under construction and almost built out. 3A is Nina Meadows. And again, they are proposing to allow for residential in this 7A portion. So again, the future land use map does call for suburban neighborhood. So it is consistent with the land use plan. However, it is not, staff does not feel that this request is consistent with the zoning district. And again, in this case, the zoning district is planned development, or PD. And the reason staff feels that way is PD, planned development, is designed for a mix of uses. So that means residential, non-residential. Back in 2021, again, we already allowed for a reduction of commercial space. You see it was this entire parcel right here. So back in 2021, we already allowed them to kind of split that up and already reduce the commercial space. So staff does not feel that it's appropriate to open the door for it to be all residential, because the wording that's proposed in the statement of intent wouldn't guarantee any commercial. It doesn't have like a required minimum. It just opens the door for this to be completely residential. So again, it is consistent with the future land use plan, but it is not consistent with the zoning. So staff is recommending denial. That concludes my presentation. I did want to say just before the public hearing opens, this was new for you guys. We have a new portal that has our cases where people are allowed to submit public comment. So as of last Wednesday, public comments were cut off, and then you received an update to your packet. So you did receive a copy of any of the written comments. Because this is a new process, we did get one on Friday. It didn't cut off like it was supposed to, so I did just want to let you know about it, because again, they thought you were going to be able to see it. This person also commented about not wanting townhomes, so again, that's not part of this request, but I did want to let you know that we did receive that. And so with that, I'll let you move forward to the public hearing, but I just wanted to comment on that since it's a very new piece of our puzzle.
Okay, thank you. I hereby open the public hearing for revision 26-01. Will the applicant please come to the podium to present their request?
Good afternoon, Planning Commission. I'm Josh Baker with Gray Engineering, here on behalf of the developer and home builder, Enchanted Homes. He's also here in the back, if you have any questions for him. We're here today to request a major change to the statement of intent for a couple items. First, we're requesting a revision to the permitted uses within Zone 7A. Currently, this zone is designated entirely for commercial. The request seeks to introduce flexibility by allowing residential uses within the zone as well. The intent behind this request is to better align the development with the current market conditions and community demand. The planned development has remained partially undeveloped for a significant amount of time, and this amendment is intended to help move the project towards completion rather than allowing commercial frontage along Milford Church Road to remain vacant indefinitely. The surrounding area is predominantly residential in nature, and the likelihood of attracting multiple commercial developers in this location has proven to be limited. The developer is actively advancing several other zones within the development and anticipates the overall project being substantially built out within the next 6 years. Secondly, we're requesting amendments to the density tables for Zone 5, 6, 7A, 7B, 10, and 11 to more accurately reflect the proposed phasing plan. The density counts included within your packet accurately reflects what's going to be built out there, and that the density has been redistributed between zones, but the overall approved density for the development has remained unchanged. Lastly, we're requesting the approval to relocate the planned amenity from Zone 7A to 7B. Relocating the amenity will provide a more centralized location within the development for the residents. Additionally, this relocation will allow for the amenity to be constructed earlier than in the development timeline, as the sewer access is through Zone 6, which is pretty far away from Zone 7A. So it helps speed things along. So I can take any of y'all's questions.
All right. Any questions for the applicant?
There's notes buried somewhere in our packet that we got. There's a lot of information in there, but there was something to the effect of being able to build amenity in other zones such as 3 or 5 or whatever. So there's, part of what you said there was that there was this intent to move amenity, specifically the pool, I'm guessing, and clubhouse,
Yeah, pool,
to
clubhouse. and-
to another zone, which would allow it to happen earlier in the process.
Right.
Is there not room right now in terms of the phasing of all the different zones right now, or zones that are yet to be built that allow for amenity to be included in those zones?
No, currently I'm working on 6, 5, and 10 and 11, and 4 and 3 are both being constructed currently, I believe. So all of those are already going through the process of engineering and plans. So there's not really any room for those. The only one that really has room is 7B, which will make it closer to the sewer, which originally it was 7A was where the mini was supposed to be, right next to Milford Church Road, up in that front area. But sewer's in the worst possible direction for that thing to be built right there. So it would need to have a big trunk line of sewer brought all the way to Milford Church Road, which would, it's going to take a lot of work to get up there just to build an amenity. So it's going to make it more conducive if it's more centralized in the development.
Ashley, could you flip back? That, we don't have all the zones on here, and I know there's a whole bunch more that go out the back on this thing. So that's the best we're gonna get there. But
Yes, so
the
this-
blue is district, or zone 5?
6.
6.
Pink
And
is 5.
pink is 5. And so 5 and 6 are both engineered right now, have already gone through.
They are engineered, they have not, 6 has been submitted to the city, 5 is currently being worked on, being submitted.
Okay.
Yeah, so 6 is currently under review. Again, the current statement of intent requires that the amenity be in 7A, and they're asking for it to be allowed in 7B. And I apologize, I should have mentioned that. Staff doesn't have any concern with that piece of
Right.
the request, and again, feels like that could be handled with a minor change. So yeah, it would be moving amenity from here to here. And what you're referencing is originally in the 2002 statement of intent, the amenity center was supposed to be like an Olympic-sized pool and clubhouse, and they changed it to be that it could be smaller than an Olympic-sized pool.
So it was scattered. They were
Saying that they would
each
do-
one could have its own amenity rather than
Exactly.
having one centralized amenity.
Exactly. So that was kind of the piece of the other zones having smaller pools.
But that was a conscious decision, that there was the option to provide scattered amenity previously. It's not like that wasn't on the table. That was allowed.
Then,
Yeah, it would have been allowed.
Okay.
I think the biggest change was requiring specifically an Olympic-sized pool in this particular location, and that changed in 2021.
this is a lot.
Yeah, so I would recommend we maybe hold questions until after the public hearing is closed, and then you can ask questions of staff and the applicant, unless anything was confusing before we allow people to speak that you think that clarity
Yeah,
would
let's-
help.
Let's open the floor and then have a,
Okay.
okay. Is there anyone present who would like to speak for or against his request? Now is your opportunity. I will now call each person signed up to speak. I've got one person signed up, Jason Laub. Did I get that right, hopefully? Laub?
My name is Jason Lobb.
Thank you.
And I live in 3A, 105 Bean Springs. My initial opposition was to the type of housing, but it was explained that townhomes are not part of this one, so I really don't have an opposition, I guess, so.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak for or against this request? Yes, sir? Come forward, please. Name and address at the podium, please.
Good evening. Marvin Mulder, 220 Double Crest on the lakeside portion of Blue Ridge Plantation. My question is, Blue Ridge Plantation is right now, I believe, authorized for 1,344 residents. Is that 1,344 still going to be the same number? And if so, where are they being allocated from? What zone is going to go into 7A? What's the number out of each zone that's going to be changed?
Okay, thank you.
And how will that affect the zones? Would 7A then have the required 20% of common space available? And what common space would be available inside of a commercial area? Will the commercial area be shared with the residential area? Or will the residential area be completely separate from the commercial? And is that earmarked? Then there's always the infrastructure portion and things like that that kind of go along with that. I completely understand their thought process to this, to go into 7B, which I kind of support. I think that kind of actually makes sense on their part because it's more centralized with the whole development. But those are the primary questions that I have today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak for or against this request? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Josh Carver, Carver, 5 Dermis Court. I'm in Zone 1. I appreciate staff that was, after reading over this before we came, my opposition to this is the word shall on the amenity. The houses are guaranteed, they're going to put them there, but the amenities are shall. And I appreciate staff stating that was one of their concerns, and that would be mine. Because we have one pool for what houses are there now. I think they ought to be required to. And the real estate agent that we're selling the houses said there was a pickleball court. I've been there 5 years, I ain't seen it yet. And so there's certain amenities that we're told we're going to get, and they're not there. And that would be my opposition to it.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak for or against this request? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Yes, I am. My name is Gary Vinson, 1 Double Crest Drive. I live in the lakeside area by the lake. I moved in about 9 years ago, and my concern with this is the same language this gentleman was talking about, the shall with amenities. 1,344 homes. Right now, there's currently 1 pool, and I don't know if there's going to be any kind of additional pools being built. I know there's language that say some zones are going to be sharing, but it's all shall and may. And like I said, I've been here 9 years. We were promised all kinds of things back in 2018, 2017. And to this date, very little has come. I was one of the original persons that opposed the townhomes a few years ago. I stood up here, or stood in a different hall. And for these builders to come in and just want to change everything, put in more density, more homes, no commercial, and the pool situation is unattainable. I mean, I pay a very good, my HOA fees have gone up every year. And like I said, 1 pool for 1,344 homes that's not right. And I did hear promises way back when of an Olympic pool and a clubhouse. And now all of a sudden that's all in the works. No commercial, and I'm here to oppose it 100% unless additional amenities are fulfilled like we were promised, 10 years ago. This is actually going back before I lived there, 2008, that you've been dealing with this property. So I think the council needs to, excuse my language, grow a pair and stop these builders and hold them accountable. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak for or against this request? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
I am Elizabeth Pittman, 15 Hidden Springs Lane. We moved in 07, so September will be 20 years, and I ditto what this gentleman said. Nothing has come about. I realize with the economy and the way things happened in '08, it has truly affected our neighborhood. I do not personally object to moving the amenities to 7B. However, we have too many homes, like this gentleman said, for one pool, and I meant to check with DHEC for the amount of people that can use the small pool that we do have, and it cannot accommodate the amount of homes that are there now. And again, I want to ditto what they have said. We've been promised many amenities. We have no communication from the developers at all. And we feel like we have been done wrong, highly wrong. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak for or against this request? All right, seeing none, I close the public hearing for revision 26-01. Are there any more questions for staff or the applicant?
I have a question for staff. Just to clarify, the recommendation of denial is not for the moving of the amenities. The recommendation of denial is for the fact that there is no guarantee that commercial or amenities would be built in Zone A.
So-
That there's no.
Mostly. I will
Mostly,
say
okay.
that no matter what, the amenity would need to be built. And it is required to be built at 50% of the zone build out from that 2021. So right now they have 1.5 zones left before they would have to have that amenity center. So that would likely be 3B, the back of 3, and then whichever zone comes next, which will probably be 6.
Sounds like.
So again, we have no concerns with allowing the amenity to be in 7B versus 7A. Our concern is opening up the possibility of residential without any guarantee of minimum commercial square footage or acreage.
Okay, that's what I understood that.
Yes.
How is the language written for the 50% trigger? Is it complete 50% of the community and then build it? Or is it by the time you reach the 50, the amenity needs to be constructed?
So the way it's a little unclear, but the way staff has interpreted it, we will not sign a final plat for anything beyond the 1.5 zones. So they could not pull additional building permits until that amenity center. And I will say they did recently submit for Planning Advisory Committee for their amenity center. So it is in the works. But we have not had that meeting, so I haven't reviewed the plans.
The amenity center that has been submitted to PAC is
In what zone?
in what zone?
I believe 7B. It's assuming that change, because again, even if this request were not to pass, staff could change the amenity from 7A to 7B with a minor amendment, and we would be supportive of that request.
Gotcha.
How many entrances and exits are there in this subdivision, with it being so large, to the main roads?
One north, one Gross Meadow, and one Milford Church.
That's it for 1,200? That's packing a lot of homes in one subdivision. And how many acres was that? I added it up, but I don't know if I got it all together or not. And I was looking like maybe, I don't know if it was, if I come up with 100 acres or what.
It's over 100. Hold on just a second.
Okay. So quite a large subdivision, and I can certainly see their viewpoint on the amenities. You would think with 100+ acres that there may be amenities for certain locations over 100 acres instead of, I don't know, is there not a pool at all there now?
There's one.
There's one. Oh, okay.
Parking for maybe 50 people at the max.
Yeah.
And there's no more parking allowed there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my
Josh.
concern too was the entrance and exits. That's a lot of traffic to go out on the roads from just those two locations. I don't know if there's any way to add other additionals or what. I haven't been up to Blue Ridge in some time, but I have been up there several times.
Josh, let me ask and hopefully clarify the way you presented the move from 7A to 7B for the pool amenity and clubhouse. You referenced the availability of sewer.
Yes.
And the difficulty of bringing it to 7A versus 7B.
Yes.
However, if we're moving potentially any residential units to 7A, you still have to have sewer.
Yeah, sewer over there is not a problem. It's sewer over there before 50% build out. That's the problem. So we're trying to get.
Is bringing it there first.
Yeah, we're
as
trying to
opposed
get it over there so that we can get amenities.
Just strategically.
Yes.
But Ashley, as you said, administratively, the flip-flop can be done right now. So really what we're talking about here is whether or not commercial should be wiped away entirely from the PD. And so the question I have then is, there's a trigger that was written into the PD language that said that you have to build amenity once you hit a certain threshold of build out. Was there anything written into the PD that said that you have to build commercial once you hit any certain threshold of number of units or percentage of build out?
No.
So it can sit vacant. The concern that was said was that this dog doesn't hunt. There's nobody who wants commercial here on 7A. But it can sit vacant. It could be the last thing to go. And that's part of what the PD set out to do. So really, that's at the heart of the matter of what we're talking about right now, it seems like, because it seems like everybody's in favor of the pool being flip-flopped, and so that could possibly happen just because everyone wants it to happen, staff included. But the question is whether or not 7A should have residential units on it, and the requirement to provide a mixed-use development, which was part of the original PD, basically you're asking for relief from mixed use. Unless there's, and this is the only thing I can think of beyond this, I'm just trying to lay out as many things, so sorry for just rambling on it with a bunch of things, but is amenity considered commercial space? So 7A was part of right now is set up to be all commercial. But when you say that, the large majority of 7A right now is the Olympic-sized pool and clubhouse and pickleball and dog park and anything else that anybody else could imagine, or no?
Yeah, so I believe it was 3 acres for amenity.
Okay, so that's all that's allowed to be?
No, minimum.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying, so I'll just say it plainly then. Take all of the retail that fronts on, on Milford Church.
All amenity.
Yep, and imagine it all becoming amenity.
Let me reread.
Could that happen?
Let me see. I feel like no, but I'm not. Let me make sure. It's a very good question. Okay, 7A consisting of 18.62 plus or minus acres shall contain any of the approved uses outlined above, which is a bunch of commercial, in addition to an approximately 3,000 square foot clubhouse with Olympic-sized pool. In lieu of a Olympic-sized pool, a smaller pool could be built in other zones. Additional amenities within 7A can consist of cabanas in the pool lounging area for rent. I don't know. I'd probably want to change the language a little bit. I mean, that could potentially be,
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
I hate to put you on the spot right there, but
the way I would interpret it written, in addition to,
the spirit of it sounds like,
yeah,
in addition to
definitely
that,
the intent
the
was,
commercial is guaranteed and you can also sprinkle in these other things.
yes.
But the way that it's drawn, or at least right now what our zoning map is showing up there on the screen, is that there appears to be lots and then maybe a clubhouse and a lot of open space.
Yeah, I wouldn't take stock of any of the old parcel lines. We haven't seen any kind of development schema for
Plan.
that zone.
But there is a plan right now that, there is a plan for 7B that's been submitted that shows the extent of what amenity is being proposed. That has been submitted.
To PAC.
Advisory board,
What's,
yes.
yeah, what's,
Yeah, not formally to staff for
Right.
site development plan review, but yes.
Right. Okay, so it's coming. That information.
Potentially.
Is forthcoming. There is a plan that will be made available to everybody, publicly.
But I think what the staff is, the problem that staff has, and just the concern I share, is what they're requesting tonight would change that. They could change it to all housing if they wanted to.
Correct.
So I think that's the issue at hand,
Right,
not
there's-
how to, get more amenities for, I mean, I would love that, but that it would
Correct.
be,
There is no way to slip the noose of having to provide mixed
Right.
use right now, but
right.
that's what's on the
That's
table.
what's on the table right now is that potential of it just being all houses.
Right. And whether or not, and the discussion about where the amenity goes, how large the amenity will be, and all those other sorts of things.
Does not have any
Has
bearing.
nothing to do with that, because those can all be administratively approved without needing to come before Plan Commission or City Council.
Or it can be changed with a minor instead of a major. We're talking about a major. She's saying change it to the amenity, the zone of the amenity would be a minor change that they could work out.
I mean, I don't know if the developer would be open to that, because if they did move the amenity to 7B, there still would be limited to the density or number of units.
Right.
Again, they could be redistributed to other zones with minor, as long as it doesn't go above that 4 acres.
Right.
Or 4 units per acre.
Right.
The commercial could be built last, there's no trigger for it. Amenity needs to be built much sooner, because there is a trigger for it. And amenity is not considered commercial. There was another question that the second gentleman brought up, asking about number of units and increase in density. If I'm not mistaken, to answer his question, there's the chart that was submitted as part of this packet that shows the distribution, and that there is no increase in total number, it's just here's how they move around.
Correct.
Can you unpack that for him, at least up there with your?
Sure, yeah. So the total number of units that's allowed in the project is 1344. And then so they're actually proposing 2.9. The statement of intent was, it was the equivalent of R10, which is an old zoning district, which is 4.36 units per acre. So they could have up to 4.36 units per acre and a cap of 1344 units. But this would not change that. It would just change where they were allowed.
Right.
They have developed throughout, typically under what they originally proposed in each zone.
Even if commercial spaces they were relieved of having to provide commercial spaces, there still would not be an increased number of,
Not overall total, no.
and the distribution is shown on the chart there.
Yes.
In red, on the right-hand side.
the redistribution?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The proposed and that's assuming that there would be no commercial.
Okay. Josh, did you have any response to anybody else's comments that you'd like to address?
I mean, I think the biggest one was the amenity, which again, we submitted for PAC and we're working on it and it's coming. I can guarantee you it's coming. And then the density, which Ashley just answered. So I would like to kind of reiterate to Adam's point is there's no trigger for commercial. So I mean, believe me, there's not a whole lot of people wanting to do commercial out in this area. So I mean, if commercial is required, it's going to sit vacant. Like there's no one really wanting to do commercial out there. So we're really just trying to get in, get it finished, and be done with Blue Ridge Plantation.
Do we have any more questions for staff or the applicant?
Got one in the audience.
Y'all okay with allowing?
For sure that I am.
Not,
We've already closed it.
okay. Do we have any further discussion? Or do we have a motion?
I think it was general, from my listening to the residents out there, I think their biggest concern is not really what's going to be changed or whatever. Their biggest concern is their amenities not being developed. So I don't know that this even addresses, I know it's shown here. I know it's on here.
Well, the statement.
As far as your pool,
Yeah,
it's
the
shown on
statement of
there.
intent is the zoning requirement. So like Ashley said, we cannot permit more than 50% of the overall development without warranting a pool. She will not physically approve another permit until a amenity permit is approved and built. So that is the guarantee. It's in the zoning requirements. Staff enforces all of it. There's really not much more way to guarantee than that.
So that's the reason why the recommendation is for denial.
Is what?
The recommendation of denial, is that the reason?
Our recommendation is solely based on the possibility of being no commercial. So the way that it's written, it opens up the possibility to up to a certain number of houses. And that has that language, there's no guarantee that there would have to be any commercial.
Doesn't cover amenities at all?
There still is language that amenity is required regardless of the commercial aspect.
Yeah, that's correct. That would not change at all. The 50% requirement would remain in place. The only change with the amenity would be the flip from it being required in 7A to it being allowed in 7B. And each zone is required to have 20% open space as well. Again, there is not concrete, strong language about active and usable amenities. And the triggers, again, were something we added in 2021 because there were not any. And you saw what happened in 2002, that it was all houses and none of the promised amenities. So yes, our recommendation of denial is solely because we feel like this language opens up the possibility to not have any commercial, therefore making it not a mixed-use project. That's up to the board.
I'm leaning towards, I see the changes, I hear the intent, but what's on paper and what's being promised don't seem to align. And I think that's been the case for potentially 20 years. Yes. So keep your comments. what I'm leaning towards, and what I'm hearing is that there needs to be more specific language in the major change in the revision of the statement of intent to ensure of the amenity and the clubhouse and everything that is going to go with it. That it needs to be more of a more specific. And I feel like the revised statement of intent needs to be revised again before we'll recommend approval, especially with staff's recommendation at this point. That's
the way I'm leaning as
That's my
well.
initial reaction to this, is that there's just not enough specific language guaranteeing what needs to be done at the 50% mark. And I know you said you've got something submitted to PAC, and I don't know if now is the time to bring some peace of mind, and if you want to open up, because the floor is still yours, Josh, if you want to speak any more about what you've presented to PAC for 7B.
And PAC hadn't happened yet. PAC, I think, is next week.
Right.
But yeah, what has been submitted to PAC is a Olympic-sized swimming pool, pickleball courts, and a clubhouse. So, I mean, that, I feel, should address
Are you in the ballpark of 3 to 5 acres? Can you elaborate on the size?
Displacing how many homes?
It's tough to say. It's tucked in a corner. It's tucked in.
The red.
It's tucked in that corner right there, so it probably takes up that chunk. I mean, it's
Okay.
probably roughly around 3 to 4 acres. It's hard to tell without having it in front of me.
Okay. And you've got sewer close enough to that location? I mean, you got sewer in Zone 1, so I'm still kind of stumped on why you can't get sewer in 7A if you got sewer in
It's
Zone 1.
So everything on Zone 7 goes towards everything on Zone 7 goes towards Zone 6. So
Yeah.
the Spine Road is the peak of
The
development.
The
So-
road, everything falls away from the road, from the
Right.
center road.
So there's a sewer lift station on Zone 4, just on that, the orange piece right there. So that's where all sewer's going, but it's in opposite directions.
Okay. Any more comments or questions or discussion?
My only comment or the conclusion I come to at the end of all this is that I think that there's been a healthy discussion in terms of what needs or should be done to fulfill what the intent of the PD was. I think that that's been aired tonight. That's really nice. But I come back to whether or not we should eliminate commercial as a requirement, because this PD probably would never have been approved as just pure residential. It was a mixed-use development in the first place. There is no trigger for it specifically, so it can sit. It could be the last thing to go, and so I think I would like to see the language revised, and we could motion to a further date as opposed to a denial right now, since we've had this discussion. Visit it, or we could.
No, I think that would be a good question for the applicant, because, I mean, staff would have been okay with carving out 3 to 5 acres that was in 7A to allow for it in 7B.
Okay.
But that wasn't what they wanted, and that's not what they proposed. So I don't know that they would be open to that. We asked for a minimum acreage or square footage of commercial, and that's not what came before us. So I don't know if the applicant is open to changes. I'm just not sure, so.
Would you like to respond?
Well, I don't know if Who Pays My Bills is open to the changes, but as far as, I mean, again, to reiterate your point, Adam, I mean, it could sit vacant for another 20, 25 years. I mean, it could be just an eyesore on the side of the road. So that's really what we're trying to prevent, just trying to develop it now, build it out, I mean, make a good-looking community instead of having as undeveloped land that everyone looks to the side of the road like, oh man, why is that thing still there?
We could revisit it in a year, even if we rejected it today, though. Because,
Could revisit it next month.
well, I thought
if
there's
they
a cool
apply.
down, there is a cool down for,
Not anymore.
Oh.
We used to have a year for denial.
fun.
I mean, again, this was very tough for staff because if this were proposed today with none of this project being here, for the 100 acres to be suburban neighborhood, staff would probably recommend approval. Our hesitancy is that it was approved as a mixed-use development. And so again, that's our only hesitation because it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. So I think you're experiencing some of the same kind of back and forth that we went through. That it is consistent with the area and what the land use plan calls for. It's just not consistent with the zoning district. So that's sort of where your decision lies of whether or not you'd feel comfortable. This would, in essence, change it to be almost like a suburban neighborhood zoning. So again, that's kind of where we're at.
Any further discussion? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we affirm staff's recommendation of denial.
I will second it.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Toma?
Yes.
Ms. Medford?
Yes.
Ms. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Lavender?
Yes. This motion fails. Please contact staff for next steps. We'll now move on to staff updates. And appears we have a planning and zoning staff report.
Sure, and before I do, just for the people in the room, this will be going to City Council next Tuesday night at 6:30. They do have a public comment. You do have to make sure to sign up within 15 minutes of the meeting with our municipal clerk.
Next Tuesday night will be May 26th.
As far as staff updates go, I just have one. I just wanted to welcome Mrs. Albert to the Planning Commission. She has a very long history as a public servant with our city, and we feel really lucky to have her as part of this board. So just wanted a very warm welcome for her.
Thank you.
And other than that, we don't have any updates.
Is there a language, rules and whatever we're calling our
Rules of procedure.
Order of
the round and
procedure.
round forever we go?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, is there any update are we gonna address that next month?
We approved them last.
I think you approved it. Yeah,
yeah.
you may not have been here. It was approved.
Our pro tem,
I couldn't remember.
Believe they were in your packet, but we can email you a copy.
Yeah, we can email you an approved
everybody
copy.
A PDF.
I was looking through because I was looking through the meeting minutes, because I missed last month.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see what had happened with that, and then I didn't think that there was anything.
There was no discussion.
No discussion.
No discussion, and they voted to.
However, they are your rules of procedure, so at any point, if you'd like to revisit them, you're welcome to. But we can send you all a copy of the approved version.
Did it get changed in light of the
Not
training
after,
session when we're?
not after the training, no. I was kind of anticipating some conversation after that training, but no.
All right. Is there any other business that needs to be conducted at tonight's meeting? Or any other items to discuss? Tonight's business is completed, so I adjourn this meeting to the City of Greer Planning Commission by general consent. This meeting is adjourned.